Hi everyone, it's Jen Leonard with the Little Craft Corner, and today I'm going to be showing you how to make this really unique card using all Altenew products. So as a certified educator, I was invited to take part in a blog hop, and the theme of the blog hop is what is your secret recipe when making a card or a layout. So my secret recipe is uh, backgrounds. I love bold and unique backgrounds. So to make this card, the first thing you're going to need is some Altenew watercolor paper set. I took a piece from Altenew's Summer Garden Paper Pack. In fact, this is the one that is the background of the card. I took Altenew's 36 half pans, along with some metallic watercoloring. And of course, no project is complete without their amazing watercolor brushes. Well, I jumped a little ahead of myself and I forgot the star of the show, which is the Dreamy Feathers Die Set. Well, of course, we're going to be using this to make this gorgeous card. So now gather your supplies and let's get started. So to begin our card, I'm simply going to just take plain water with the largest of the brushes. This is a number 18 out of my water brush set. And I'm going to give the paper an even brushing of water, not oversaturated, just enough to get the paper wet. And then I'm going to turn the paper over, as this does a couple things. It prevents the water, the paper from curling, and it also gives the paper just a little bit of some adhering to the background. I learned this trick from Lydia when I was taking my Altenew classes. So once that's done, now remember we're going to just be using 3 colors in this for the background. With the pan set, I'm going to be using Lagoon, Mountain Mist, and Industrial Diamond. So the first one that I'm coming in with is Mountain Mist. And again, my recipe for success for a background is not to overthink it. Overthinking actually, I think, does the card an injustice. And oh my goodness, I'm so sorry. I have a cold today, so I'm not speaking clearly. Injustice. There we go. So right now we had some Lagoon, some Mountain Mist, and now we're going to go in with some Industrial Diamond. And I'm going to keep repeating these steps until I have sort of a background of these colors that are a little bit spaced apart. I'm not thinking of how I'm placing them. I'm just really, see an opening, and I'm going to put it there. Again, my recipe really is just for fun, something vibrant, something that is unique, because every time you make this card, you're going to get something a little bit different. And don't be afraid to just, try different ways, because each card is going to come out uniquely your own. Okay, so after I get all this done, the next thing I have to do is take a mister, and I'm misting the colors so that they start blending together. Now this next part, you want to be a little bit gentle, because you don't want to swirl the colors together. You simply want to activate the colors so that they start blending together. Have a little rag on the side so that you collect some of the excess. And I'm just adding some water, moving the pigment around. And by moving the pigment around, they will kind of become a unique blend on their own. What I love about the Altenew watercolor paper is it can take a beating with water. Do you notice how my paper is hardly even moving right now? It's not buckling. So I swear by this Altenew color. And the other thing that I think is really cool is as this pigment is being diluted with water, you can almost see the elements breaking up. And it has a bit of a metallic look or a feel, even though it's not. It's just, these colors just work so well together. So I'm noticing I'm not getting a lot of activity in here, so I'm going to come back. There we go. Add a little bit more mountain mist in this section. And I'm going to pull some mountain mist down in here. Clean off your brush. And I'm going to pull some diamond, industrial diamond in this area. And then let's balance it out up here with some more industrial diamond. So when you see like here's a little bit of extra pooling of water, there's two ways you can get rid of the extra. You can simply just take your brush and have the brush act like a mop to clean some of it up. But if you don't like it at all, you can take your rag and dab it, and it kind of just almost disappears a little bit. The thing with watercoloring is it is very forgiving. And I think that's what I love about it is, like when you're stamping and you actually stamp wrong, you notice it. But when you're watercoloring in this way, this is messy watercoloring. You didn't have a really, you don't know what it's going to look like in the beginning. So you can't go wrong because it's going to look different every time. All right, so while my paper is still wet, it's time to add in some metallic. And what this metallic does is it will correspond well with my card, with the layer of the feather. Because remember, the feather has this metallic outline with it with one of the die cuts. And so having metallic in the paper will really complement each other. So I chose two colors from the metallic set. I chose bronze and Presiolite. And again, the same process, getting this nice and saturated. And I'm just going to drop in, get this really nice and wet. Drop in some color here. It's not messing with, it's almost like it's kind of sitting on top, which is super cool. You see that? It's not blending. It sits on the top of the watercolor. You saw me do this. This is live. This is not edited. And this is what such a cool feature is that it's laying on top of the pigment. So you can see already that possibilities are going to be endless when you're making this card because of all the color combinations one can have. It kind of becomes a little addicting. You don't know when to stop because I don't know where the feather's going to be on the. So I want this to have lots of opportunities for the metallic to shine through on the feather. All right, so let's wash off our brush. And then we're going to go, so that was bronze. Next, we're going to take out the Presiolite. I got a little bit of too much bronze in there. I'll wipe that off. I did not have my brush clean enough. There we go. Let's see what we get with this. This almost has a little bit of a silvery background. Bring this down in here. A very light hint of a green in the back, but much more of a silvery background. Wonderful for what we're going to be doing. Now, once I get all of this completed, I am one who likes to have their panel dry naturally, air dry. I don't like rushing the process. I don't like putting a heat gun to it. So if you're going to make this project, it's going to be something that you do when you know you have other things going on. So if you're in a rush, this is not the kind of card to make in a rush, okay? So I'm going to stop for there, and I'm going to let this dry, and then we'll go on to the next step. While we're waiting for our panel to dry, let's get the next part of the card assembled. So first you're going to need an A2 card size, which is going to be cut 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. And that's your A2 card size. And then what I did was I like to have a color uh, kind of like to back up my base top. And I am a scrapbooker. Um, I've been scrapbooking for a long time, and I think this is just something scrapbookers like to do is we like to mount our paper on another piece of cardstock. And not all of us have lots of color cardstock, so we can create our own cardstock by going into our inks and just creating the same color. So this in here is sort of a combination of this industrial diamond and a bit of this like lagoon. It's kind of mixed together. So I simply took one of my little cubes and just kind of went up and down the sides all around with the lagoon ink all around. There is no perfection to it because it's just going to be going on top of the card. So you can do a little or a lot as you want. And then this piece is going to be cut. This started as a 6x6 piece of paper out of the summer paper pack, and I cut it down to 4 across and 5 1/4 down. And then I'm going to adhere the top panel to our base and then take this entire piece and adhere it to our card. I like thick cards. I think it makes it extra special. I like some oomph to my card when I give it to somebody. So we're just going to adhere this down with some double-sided tape. Okay, it's time to get this card assembled. So we took our now dry panel, and using one of the die cuts, I was able to make 2 feathers out of 1. So there we have that. Put this aside. And then here is an example of what this will be look like. And remember this metallic that we just did? Look how fun. There it is. Next thing you're going to do is take the sort of the lacy one, and I wanted to use the metallic glitter cardstock because I really wanted to bring out the metallics. So I went ahead off camera and I adhered these two together. So this top here, this piece here on the top came from the lacy layer, and then underneath over here is literally this. It's just underneath. Okay, so that's how these two got started. I recommend using a liquid glue because you have time to sort of wiggle all the elements into place and let each leaf shine through. So when you are done die cutting out your layer of the glitter cardstock, there's definitely some pieces left over. So use one of your pieces to cut it down to a little strip that you're going to have at the bottom. Now remember, here's our example. But remember I said every card is going to come out differently. So I can't really replicate this, but I can come pretty close. So we're going to have our leaf here. Now you're probably wondering, how did I get this little guy? Well, that's a few things. When you do die cut out the feather, you do get this little eye. The eye can also come, and let me just show you real quick. When you're using this die cut, here is the eye. So from the paper, that's what this became, and I popped it up on a foam dot. If you don't want the eye, you can simply just do whatever is your background paper, and if it's pretty enough, that will definitely suffice. This set also comes with its own little die cut eye. So if you wanted it something really unique in the middle, maybe an offset color, you could create your own eye of the feather. But when you die cut the lacy piece in the center, you are left with this really cool, if I can find it, because generally speaking, when I'm crafting, I'm always losing something, which is par for the course. All right, I found the piece that was sitting under the card. So As you can see, yes, I am wearing cat pajamas. I have to say I'm homesick today. I caught myself a cold. So I thought, you know what? I'm going to craft. And yes, I'm a middle-aged woman in my cat pajamas, but I think there might be a few of you crafters who can relate. Am I right? Yes. So then what I was saying is in this section here, where this little lace is, this is what comes out of here. And that is beautiful on all onto itself. So what I think I'm going to do is take, hold on, had to find something else. Here we go. I'm going to take the center of what used to be in there, and I'm going to pop the lacy piece on top of this. And then I'm going to add it to here on a little piece of foam to pop it up. So I think that will be just dandy. All right, so then once I come back, you're going to see this all completed, and then you're going to see my sentiment on this side here. All right, so I am going to show you how I put this last little piece on. In keeping with our color theme, I am using the Rock collection of the inks. We did have Industrial Diamond within our card. I'm going to go with the darkest of Pure Graphite. I feel like at this point I worked so hard in this card that I'm too nervous, and I have become very reliant on the stamp positioner. I think we can all agree with that too. And so I have a niece that is going through some hard time, and I thought, you know what? I may not be able to be right next to her, but I can give her this really lovely card. So right here is my sentiment. I'll move this out of the way. And there you have it. The finished product. I hope you enjoyed what you saw today. And here is our finished product. I cannot wait to see what you all make with your version of this. So this is my card recipe. Whenever I have a go-to and I want to make a very special card, I like bold backgrounds. So until then, Jen from the Little Craft Corner, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.